want equality in our country here. My name is Bill Quinn. I was born March 20, 1939 at Saddle Lake, Alberta. I have some reserve experience, some reserve knowledge of way of life. I have a whole lot of residential school experience of mental, physical, spiritual, verbal, and sexual abuse. And there's other, excuse me, can you just shut these off my veneers?
Okay, now we're on in a real way. So I want to be real with you. I want you to be, as you say, honest and truthful and real with me. So I want to hear what I've been hearing you say. So we can just, like, if I can relax with you, we can just talk. That's the best way to do it. I understand.
Let me just talk. Is it on now?
Yes.
It's on now. Okay. My name is Bill Quinn. I'm 59 years old. I was born in Saddle Lake, Alberta. And see,
So let's just go on this now. I don't have to just keep quiet. I can quite easily talk with you because we have pretty good talks. And I like that when I talk with you.
how about over here, maybe?
Where I sit over here?
Right there?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't matter if I'm looking at the camera.
No, it doesn't matter at all because it's your words that are, it's what you're saying.
Okay, I'm going to talk here tonight. My name is Bill Quinn. I'm from Saddle Lake, Alberta. I speak the Cree language, which I'm very, very fortunate. I got some reserve experience, a lot of residential school experience, and urban living experience. I'd like to just touch off briefly as to my experiences in my earlier days in my childhood, infancy, when I went to a residential school and they taught me a foreign Bible and a religious philosophy that wasn't the way that my grandmother interpreted our human existence or who controlled our universe. My grandmother used to say that the sun is the one that rules all whatever is out there. Now, I never understood these things. I was too young to understand those things. but I did hear something about the sun having some power in our galaxy. And I went to a residential school where I was taught how to pray, how to make the sign of the cross, how to concentrate and develop a mind towards believing that there was a human being in the form of a human being that had blue eyes, long blonde hair, that created this world in 6 days and rested on the seventh day. This is what I went through for many, many years in the school that I attended, and it caused a lot of confusion in my life because I was told that heaven, hell, purgatory, limbo were all in other areas of our space. So I had to go through a series of difficulties in my life, a chronic phase of alcoholism. Many of us natives encounter that, and many of us have gone through severe bad experiences, whether it was maybe we accidentally killed somebody or killed someone through rage because our grandfathers aren't there any longer to assist us to control our attitude, and because a lot of that's been taken away, and a lot of that is the fault of those residential schools because they did force the abuse. There's so many different types of abuse. It wasn't only sexual, it was physical and mind abuse to the point of almost going stark crazy. It was it's inhumane to treat children like that. It's like captivity is what it was, and imprisonment for far worse than any federal prison probably in this country, because there was constant beatings. You stood and shivered when they spoke to you. Everything was authoritative. Everything was conducted in the military style. And after I left the school, I went through all those different phases that I experienced. Unfortunately, many of us have to go through a series of jail convictions and hitchhiking on down the highways and being flat broke, hungry, no money, nothing. This has been the extent of our lives, many of us. And I think the society here went wrong somehow and should be responsible to at least be concerned of what's taken place to the Indian world. The fact that in my situation, I only went to grade 5, and it's not even kindergarten today. It's of no value in this system anyway, nothing, absolutely. So this is where I've been all my life. I mention often, if you cage an animal, a wild animal in a zoo, and you go and turn him out over there after keeping it in the zoo for several years, and you go and turn it out there in the wild, in a natural habitat, it's going to have a difficult time surviving. But luckily, if it'll survive. And it's no different with that mind stuff that they suppressed us with, that philosophy. It's the same way when we go out, supposedly we're should have been productive to walk alongside this system, but no, it was the other way around. We regressed instead, and it's just like throwing us out into a concrete jungle here with no experiences to survive on. That's why there's a lot of difficulties in the Indian world, why we see a lot of alcoholism, people passing out on the street, in back alleys. You look around, many of the natives are disabled. You see a lot of them walking around with crutches, black eyes, blood all over, drug addicted, alcoholism involved, violence. We live in a violent world. And to understand the actual causes of those things would stem from those residential schools. And it's not the fault of these innocent people that are down there in that situation. Somebody holds responsibility for that, because we're landless, we're homeless, we're penniless, we're welfare victims. We've been driven to the sidewalk to survive. Asphalt. Beautiful country here, rich. The whole entire country is wealthy. We have to look at our situations here. We have to look at our federal governments, all our Indian leaders, all our native organizations, to work with us, street people that are dying on the streets, in back alleys. Come down sometimes, any one of you, come around with me. I'll take you around the back alleys. It's a fact. Using a cardboard box for a mattress, rat-infested area. Health board should be over there if they have any concern in the back alleys of these streets here in Vancouver. Where's humanity? You go around the back alley between Pigeon Square there and going towards Cordova, between Cordova and Hastings. You go through there and you see if that should be a human violation to cause diseases in the downtown east side, for instance. I'm cutting across a lot, but these are the things that are happening down here. Everybody's responsible in this area, in the reserve, in the city, or wherever we are. We are polluting our earth, our waters, and we are all responsible. Somebody has to answer to all these. We're all involved. There's possibilities of polluting our waters so badly that it'll be contaminated, and we'll all phase out. What happens then? But definitely the sanitation department should check all those back alleys in Vancouver. We have a lot of problems here that we have to share. Native issues, Black African issues, Hispanic issues, white issues, Oriental issues. Everybody's involved.
But I can talk to you. Like, it's not I don't have to be off. It's just you have a good flow already, and so we can talk easily on it. I can relate with you on camera. We got all the takes we want to take. Yeah, to get it right.
Okay.
There has to be change. They don't know what to do. That's what they're saying. Or they're lying. They're all stuck. Everybody's in this program bullshit that we learn from our experiences in the world. So the attention now is, okay, how are we going to straighten this out? How are we going to heal this damaged core of downtown Vancouver that I'm witnessing, what I'm seeing in this camera, in this movie.
Okay, well, put it on.
All right, we're on.
You just looked at it. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I was talking about everybody's responsible for downtown east side here, and in the health department, in the sanitation department. I'm a native person that have to fight for my native issues, and that is why the demonstration took place at Pigeon Square, Hunger Fast. we want equality in our country here. This is enough of this neglect and the injustice that's been going on for so long. It's like there's no value to human existence to the Indian world from this system and society. Many people deny these issues, but it's a fact. We've been driven, I said, to where we are. We're cornered. We can't go any further. The water's out here now, the ocean. A few more steps, I guess, we'll all drown. And within our human race, that's one problem we really have to look at. Aside from what we're talking about presently, in order for us to straighten out our problems as human beings, we got to go and practice the basics of humanity. Start talking about love, respect for one another. This is the only place that we have in this solar system here. No other place. This is where our home is. It all belongs to us. We don't own this. This here. We're fortunate that we're on it. This here owns us. This is the boss of our existence right here. I'm going to try and talk about my understanding of evolution, how everything came to be. I think it's human right for anybody to seek their own belief, because I had to venture out and seek for my own belief because I was very uncomfortable in the teachings that I got. Very confusing for me, and I wasn't happy in it. I just had to leave it. There was fear involved because I was forced so much that they didn't want to allow me to venture out elsewhere other than concentrate for the rest of my life what they taught me. Fear of heaven and hell. Hell anyways. The things that they taught me. A devil waiting with a pitchfork to fork me to inferno forever. Those were some of the teachings that affected my life. And I had to go out and suffer a lot before I started to concentrate and meditate on reasons why my life was hurting so much and I just couldn't do anything right. My grandmother's words I've always held. She gave me a lot of good philosophy, my grandmother. She told me to tell the truth all the time. Don't lie. You have to stack up your lies after the other once you lie. Don't gossip. Don't steal. Don't lie. Those are the North American teachings here. Don't take somebody else's wife. Don't go break up a marriage life. Those are the things that we've experienced in our life here, you know. It's been very, very difficult that we don't sit in a dinner table anymore with our grandfathers, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters. It seems like we don't even have a family life in our country anymore. There's a lot of chaos that's taken place here, and it's got to be corrected by all walks of life, because we're all involved here. If we don't straighten out our environment here, like I said, there's dangers that will all phase out. I wanted to just give briefly my understanding of creation. A lot of people say, don't talk like this, don't talk like that. This is the right way. There's so many different millions and trillions of different, probably versions of creation and whatever or what. Myself, I believe that mystery is my, I love mystery. I love to venture out there and explore for myself, my understanding. Not saying that I have no spiritual values or anything. I have a lot of love, and I'm an honest man, very honest. I've made mistakes in my life, like anyone else, but I know me. I have compassion for little white babies, little black babies, Oriental babies, anybody. I have no racial. In the culture that I understand, there's no racial difference. As far as I'm concerned, the Creator is one color, as far as I'm concerned. If there's colors, we're all the same. We all have feelings. We nurture our baby the same way. But then again, there's philosophies that were developed several thousand years ago over there, and this is the way that life has been up till now. Philosophies in the Bible and the religions were handwritten also. And that probably is man-made because it's written. It's not verbal. Ours is our religion, or whatever you want to call it. The spirituality is looking at the beautiful surrounding of our environment, getting in tune with the trees, the grass, the ocean, everything, animal life, human life. That's fulfilling in spirit, relating to that feeling good. When you're able to get up in the morning and say, it's beautiful out there, that's a prayer already. And my teachings were heavy stuff. I was being prepared to be productive in this society when I went to a residential school, I suppose. I was supposed to learn mathematics, whatever they offer in school, geography and science inventions. Nothing. From the time that I can remember, that's all I ever heard was crucifixion, Pontius Pilate, Julius Caesar, Judas selling Christ for 30 pieces of silver, and somebody changing holy water, all these things. It's been very, very tough for me to go through that, to make a change again, utilizing the culture of our native traditions and our spiritual values, and my grandmother teaching me that the boss was out there. This is when I started to venture out into a little bit out, further out, I guess, out there. I took an interest as to where did this sun come from? How come it's dangling up there? I never was taught science. We're out there dangling in mid-space right here, the only home that we know out in mid-space. The other planets that are out there. I went into infinity, space. Space came from forever, and it'll go on forever. Between me and you, there's nothing in between. Yet without that, everything would be blocked. So I would gather that space definitely is there. It's an invisible source of mysterious power, space, because it's able to accommodate whatever it's out there. And I've heard of somewheres along the line years ago of a big bang, a big explosion. These are possibilities that did occur, and it's more the way that I would interpret it myself as a native Indian that went to grade 5 residential school. Now, could this be utilized because this was discovered in a sense that you could develop the system this way? I don't know. There's possibilities. But from my own understanding, the sun has a lot of energy. And then it might have been a long time ago. There's no numbers of how long ago it is, we'll see. That there was a matter that swirled around here that was itself creating birth of whatever it has in there, iron, magnetism, gravity, whatever, minerals, whatever, rock. And through that period of a long time, maybe there was enough whatever hydrogen and some combustion could unbearably explode it. And it sent all these fragments all over the entire galaxy. Our Mother Earth came out of there, born out of there, arrived as far as it could to where it is in the fireball, and rotated around. Because this is the natural birth of the mystery that we belong to, the creation of mystery that's unquestionable, and yet it's okay to venture out there because it's a human right. It's a human right to believe what you want to believe. Our Mother Earth swirled around here, came here as a rock, fireball, developed earth, water, and everything. Now when I'm asked, how do you interpret something like that? How can you talk about a mystery of creation like that? I talk about a man and a woman making a baby, a woman carrying a baby in her universe for 9 months, the universe of a womb. The process that child takes for the period of time, that mysterious formation that's unquestionable, other than the fact that the power of mystery controls that evolution. That's what we are today. We come out the womb of the universe of a woman. The same way that everything is born, whether it's a little frog or a horse, whatever it is. I don't know, during the whatever was here, whatever wasn't here, somehow man was born along with the other animals. He evolved with 5 fingers on each hand. These are the instruments that created what's on surface today. Those mighty Star War weaponry out there, those planes, whatever we have. Man was lucky through evolution to be born with hands in a sense. Unfortunately, developed destruction. If he was born with horse hooves instead, maybe our world would be beautiful. We have to resort to that kind of talk to understand that our world is in danger of phasing out and dying. There's no place out there. You can live up above here, wherever you're hovering around. This is the only place that we can live, right here on Mother Earth. We all have to work together to continue our existence. It's like myself as an Indian. I feel like I don't belong here anymore. I'm an alien. What would the case be if I was what you call immigrated or shipped over to Russia or somewhere and let out in the wild over there? What would my life be? I don't think it would be any much different than it is here, because I'd probably have to reside out of back alleys and dumpsters over there too. So these are the situations that we have to look at, where we got to start being humanistic with one another and really, whatever way we can, whatever effort we have, try to help each other. Try to help each other to have hope in life. Right now, I like talking for the homeless, because that's my situation. Prior to 600 years ago, right here in this North American continent, Native people were free. There wasn't any jails around here. There wasn't any heroin or LSD or any hard drug out there to phase us out. Alcohol. There's been a sudden change here, very, very sudden. The foreign system was already in practice. Already they knew about world trade. They traded along wherever they were from. And currency was already there. Guns were invented. Whether they didn't come in 1400s, they were coming here anyways. They already had the transportation to come across sooner or later. But the fact here is they had knowledge to everything. Science, land value, taxes, whatever they had. I feel injustice that there's not never did hear of any Indian history when I was going to school, other than that Indians were wagon burners and that they were thieves and they'll kill you, is all I ever heard. But looking at it too, there's been a lot of damage here that's never been taught, and it's not that it should be. Yes, it's done with. It depends on a human being whether they forget it or not. Myself, I accept whatever happens, because I wasn't there at the time. That was a course of history changed in North America here. And we happened to be caught where we were defenseless in weaponry or any other scientific technology where we understood that this was valuable land, it had gold, it had all these things. We didn't have that knowledge over here. To us it was perfect virgin land, nothing here. No diseases, best food, exotic foods here, free. Garden of Eden right here, heaven. Overnight it turned around, and we're the descendants of those people over there that were treated in a barbaric, brutal style of execution, whatever it was that way. And the victimization that continued from there it's incredible for me, as an Indian being victimized, to put myself in a position over there, and whoever from the society, and watch what the society is doing to the Indians, I wouldn't be able to believe it, and it's happening to me. And this is what we're trying to get people to understand. We got to love each other. That's all there is in this world. Compassion, but the system don't allow that. That's why it's over there that it has that, whatever it has, it controls the lives of human beings. And myself as a native Indian, I feel like I'm a captive in my motherland. I've been imprisoned. I'm just waiting for my death. I got a friend visiting me here for the last 2 days. I've had a lot of friends come to my apartment, and I open my fridge, I got nothing in there. And I never keep anything in there. I live from day to day just what I can get. I'm on welfare, a welfare victim. I would have loved to have been a scientist, to be walking alongside the super system and inventions, to run my own microscopic medical lab where I can make sure that there's medicines for my people. Nothing. So these are the genocides that are the genocide that's taking place here. People are responsible for this. What is happening in this world? Is this the way it was intended to be, that we somehow done some wrong here, and we're going to be phased out of the earth for no cause? Or what's the cause? I know we have a lot of land issues here, and as far as I'm concerned, it's very, very difficult to ever claim land here because of what I've seen in my period of my lifetime. In just a few short years, our motherland in this part of the continent has been sliced right up. Provinces, states, territories, highways, railways, cities, airports, golf courses, all that destruction that's taking place here in just a few short years. But then again, the system took that route, and it's up to the people to correct it, at least have it at a pace where we don't go out there too fast and die altogether. How do we change? How do we get together? I guess it's just tell the truth and be honest. I'm being honest that I don't really feel happy that we lost everything in our native land. All our loved ones, our grandfathers, many of us are alone, that deep hurt that still continues every day for us. Right from probably my dad passed away at 87 years old, and I don't think he even wrote one word of English. He was always into hard labor work, like picking rocks in some farmer's field. These are the extent of our employment in this country. Picking rocks, cleaning up, brushing down trees to make these highways they built. Now we're out of residential schools. There's no more jobs. We got nothing. I can't get no job with grade 5. Nowhere. So the humiliation I have to deal with as a proud nation, that I have some dignity, and I have to learn to deal with that. I'm one of the lucky ones now. I don't have to go back using alcohol or shooting up to cope with life. So even at that, it's still hard to live, because I said that's our lives. We don't have no money. And we have children, many of us, and our children are the offsprings of us victims that were victimized in residential schools, and they have the same effects. They're on the street drinking, and bad things are happening to them in their lives. I think there should be absolutely some compensation allotted to all these people that were victimized that way, because it's a disability. I mentioned I'm disabled. I can't get a job, plus the fact all the promises that's been broken. I have a status card. I've never gotten any help from my Indian Reserve or in the city. It's just a status card that has no value other than it's a card that says I'm a treaty Indian. We got a lot of issues here that we got to straighten out as people of the world and Native people. I like speaking for Natives, but we all have to get along as well too. We all walk in the same line here. We're involved to save our earth, I think, is our concern here. And if we all work together, accept what's happened in the past, try to repair the system the way it is, whether it's crippled up or whatever it is, try to work alongside it so we don't have to go through any more bad experiences with our lives, working along with the system and the system working with us. I think we got to try and open the eyes of whoever is responsible over there, or hear us. There's no more jobs over here. There's no jobs here for the unskilled. Whether if you're white, if you got children, you're suffering. And this is a big country, lots of food, lots of everything. Everything is so calculated to the point that it's very, very difficult to exist. And before I get into any further discussion, when I was talking about evolution, when I mentioned my brief version of what I interpret, that the way the mystery of creation, that super intelligence that's out there, that governs everything. That's where I was touching off on. I'll just when I was mentioning that I was going out into space and creation, or wherever creation come from, in my own belief, regardless of what scientist or whatever brilliant mind there is out there, there's probably no way that a human being on the face of the earth can accurately pinpoint how creation came to be. Leave the creation out there, that powerful source of mystery that's so beautiful, that created us all, that created everything, equally for you and me, for whoever is the richest man in the world, to that guy that's sleeping in the back alley by that piss tank over there that I was talking about, between Hastings and Cordova Street. We have to work and try and develop some human balance here for all mankind. There's a lot of us. We're all beautiful people here. We are. We could still get along and have some joys of whatever good things life has to offer. Many of us don't see this as Native people. Come down to these parks here, where we, like Oppenheimer Park and Pigeon Park, all those parks. You'll see our Native people, where they're herded to, just like animals, caged in here and there. It's the way it's become. And we live in a high society today. We got these super scientists out there that probably see this over here of what's happening to their fellow people, the human beings over here. I don't think there should be a class in education and stuff like that, because a human being can't eat dust or dirt. Gotta have food here. So there's a lot of corrections here that have to be done. A lot of people will have to talk with one another and do simple things, just have social gatherings and talk. Normally everybody is friendly, but it seems like that's even taken away from us now. It's hard to say hi to anybody because it seems like everybody's turned cold. Like, what's happening to our world? Why are we imprisoning ourselves? It seems like there's so much negative forces of energy that's hovering above us here. It seems like too that poverty all of a sudden is exposed. I mentioned these people that are lining up on sandwich lineups are native people waiting for a meal and going into those religious services, which is good for those people that believe it. There's some of us that don't believe that, but there shouldn't be any contradictions or hatred because of that. Because I don't think it should be forced what a person believes. People shouldn't divide or condemn each other because of what they believe in. But I do know that some of those establishments hold a 2-hour prayer session before you get a sandwich. Many instances you have to tolerate that because you have no other alternative, because you got nothing in your belly. So those are some of the hardcore, down-to-earth, ground-level, cement sidewalk experiences that we have here. Hunger and pain. You know, Native people are very, very strong people in the sense that they hold their mentality irregardless of all the unjust that's happened to them and all the unjust that's taken place in our country. We're still able to exist to the best that we can. We're still able to smile to one another, sit out in a park and meet each other and say hello. That's the extent of our lives now. We want some people to help us here. You know? We want people to develop some concern for us, because I think it's time now that people start working with us, because it's gone on too long. This genocide has gone on too long. It's been like a slow death, just waiting for my execution. It seems like that. I want to have money. I want to have a job. I want to be able to put my kids to school. I seen my son. I love my son very much. When I went home last September, he was where I was supposed to take my train from, is where I met him. He was panhandling. And that's very, very hard to take. He's 19 years old. He's the same way, got no schooling because of family breakups. So there's a lot of hurt here. Now, we're trying to work with all our Native organizations so that they could be concerned also that we can't just do paperwork. I'm not putting blame on anybody either again, but we do have to ask questions here. Are we in the direction of surviving? Is there any help being provided for the people that are down here? And those are some things that we could work with our organizations together, because It's evident down here when we went on that march that there's a lot of our native people here. They're so far down that they need help. They can't go any further. And if we don't help each other, we might as well close the book and say goodbye. Because I found through taking this task of going on a hunger fast, it wasn't for me. It was for my son, the one that I mentioned. I love him very much. I love my son. And I seen him panhandling, and I thought of this for a long time. He's so young, he's 20 now. I thought, I'll try to get attention to the world or the system of what it's doing to us. That's why I went on that hunger fast in Pigeon Square. To try and bring a message, how much further are we going to be driven? That area we slept in wasn't fit for a human being to be at. If I had anything to say or do with this city, I'd tell them, get all that heavy equipment over there and sanitation department and clean all those back alleys right now or you're fired. We pay taxes. People pay taxes here. It's not fit for a human being to be around there to breathe that air. It's not good for you. And health department also. Because there's health hazards over there. We're sitting in the cesspool is what it is. Now the action of the people that are down there, that could be dealt with too. They could be facilitated and helped to treatment centers or something and help them to repair their lives. But it seems like it's a forgotten thing. Let them be the way they are. Let them die. Let them OD. Let them kill each other. Let them perform the way that they're doing on the street. Let society see how they are. That's all Indians. They're Hispanics and blacks. They're all alike. They're no good. They're just there to destroy our world. That's not the point. We've been destroyed physically, mentally, spiritually. And I think we need somebody to start repairing our lives here. I think we play an important role in this part of the world too. I think there was a lot of contributions that were made in medicines out here and food that society is living comfortably with today. Society. What I would like to have society do is work closely with us natives. Treat us like human beings. That's all we're asking for, nothing else, nothing less. We have problems down here, it's evident. We're still involved in the judicial system where we have a lot of our native people in prisons, political prisoners. These are some of the things that I can't understand when they brand people as political prisoners, because to me talking or protesting is a form of just fighting for equal rights, trying to fight for it's your last resort, like that occupying Pigeon Square. It can't go any further. This is the way it is. There's we want to be recognized as human beings. That is why we took that stand to do that hunger fast. I mentioned we have a lot of our native people in prison all across the country today. We have so many family breakups, child apprehensions, some children without mother or father, growing up without family. And this is a fact. There's the statistics about this issue, that there's a lot of children out there that are parentless, and that's a fact. These are the things that we want to present to our society here, the ones we have to coexist with, the ones we live with right here. In a sense, responsible for us to be treated equally. And nothing is really, it seems like the concern hasn't come from anywhere yet, really. We have a good system here. Federal government got everything under control. Economics, taxes, GST, welfare payments, everything right to the penny. And there's not too much coming to the Indian world. Some of that money that's out there that should be coming out here to once and for all the governments put on your suit, your boots, and stand like the Army generals that you ought to be if you want to be Army generals, and say, hey, let's take care of these Indian people. Let's give them modern school, modern technology, modern science. Let's show them everything. That's what I'd like to see. I mean, that would be equality. That would be justice for me. Then I wouldn't have to worry of my son panhandling in some street corner in this city, any city of this country. The emotions that we go through as Native people, you got to be very, very tough, and you got to have a strong culture to withstand all these pressures beyond someone capable of handling. Sometimes the weight of all these pressures of dominance, of suppression, right to the lowest level of any that human being could go. The weight is so hard sometimes, and yet we have to walk. We have to keep walking for the benefit of our survival and our existence in our motherland right here. There is nobody in this world, I don't care whatever system you're running, nobody can lay one claim to one blade of grass. Nobody on earth. Nobody. And that's a fact. We've got to start looking at some things here. Realistically. Be adults. Be adults like the way we ought to be. Mighty teachers, grandfathers out there in the space age. Take care of your children. Are we your children or not? Or are we just statistics over here facing an extinction? We are an endangered species, and nobody mentions these things. This goes on daily. That abuse to an innocent race of people that watched all the suffering that's gone on all through these years. It's been many years now, and it's so crucial. It looks very, very crucial, for my opinion as an Indian, that if there's even 2 more generations left for us, the future and the destiny of the Indian, my point of view, is very, very dark. I don't see any light over there from my experiences right now. Maybe a few have it, but the ones I don't know, that I know, have nothing. And these are the people down here that are eating out of dumpsters. And it's a fact. We have to work together and try and look at a destiny I talk, I often try to mention one thing that I would believe would solve some part of the problem, and yet it seems impossible that it would exist in society or that it would work in the society itself. And that's the Aboriginal, Native peoples of this country. The Métis, the non-status, the Bill C-31, the treaty status Indians, to join forces and make one government. It's a human right. We can maneuver our own destiny and have our own government united so we'd have a destiny for our children. I personally don't go for this self-government in certain areas where self-government, to me, that's signing away their system. I believe that we could coexist in a one government. But these are the things that people get lynched for and shot at when they're trying to fight for justice and human rights. There's no fear, I mentioned, from natives to exterminate anybody of human form. There's so much threat here. Nobody knows. Nobody knows us. Our prime minister's got studies probably up there could fill half a province about Indian problems, Indian issues, and we're still out here. Come on down here. I talk like that. I ask them to come over here. Prime Minister Chrétien, please walk with me through that lane between Cordova and Hastings streets and have a good look around there and tell me what you think of the smell and what it feels like to be down there as a human being. Compare yourself to humanity. This is the balance here that I'm trying to get across. Who's who and what's what and what's what. This is the thing. We're all equal here, and we got to start talking like that. Now, as far as we natives that exist in urban areas, we have to try to develop our own healing or recreational or cultural motivations to exist. The street people are very, very, very wise. They've gone through university of a hectic, degraded, painful life. And when they sober up, you cannot get a wiser and more intelligent person than them, because they got the heart, they got the spirit to carry the message to help someone else that's suffering. And those are the things that we need here. We need to help each other. That's why we took the stand to take that, sit in that Pigeon Square, to show the world, hey, this is where we've been driven to, and we are the ones who can get ourselves out of this. There's fun there, and laughter when we were there, drums. The spirit was there, brought people together. It's beautiful to see this, that even them have the spirit, the people that have been forgotten and driven aside. The circle that I belong to. I have a pipe, and I'm a pipe carrier, if that's what you want to call it. I don't call myself a pipe carrier. All I have is a pipe. I use that pipe for ceremonies in my native Cree traditions that I have gone to fast. When we sat at Pigeon Square in a circle, there was some that still had alcohol in their breath and some that had been using cocaine. They smoked and they cried, and it was witnessed by people because they were made felt that worthiness. We can't shove people anymore. Get out of here, come back 2 days later till you're sober. It doesn't go that way. Spend one night in Pigeon Square in the middle, lay there and hear all the language that you've never heard in your life. Then you'll know that you could deal with someone in a state where they're using something or in a state of something, whatever it is, a little alcohol or drug. Those people are looking for something, and we can't shove each other away anymore because we've been shoved aside from the system. We can't do that to each other anymore. So these are the things that I'd like to see happen, where we all get involved trying to help each other. I don't believe in discrimination, and I would like to say one thing. When I die, and I know I haven't got too much more to live, I am happy as an Indian that I have never went to another country and washed my hands of blood, killed, and annihilated innocent people. I'm happy for that. I have no guilt. I have no guilt for that. Nothing. And I have no guilt living in poverty all my life. Nothing. I know what's taken place. I know what's happened, and it's up to you out there, society, the system, to look after some responsibilities here that's been created by your forefathers and the present system. And that's the way it is. You can't blame each other anymore. Our grandfathers did this, and these ones are doing this. Somebody's responsible here. You have to deal with us accordingly, in a sense where you have to realize we lost a whole entire continent, the whole works, and it's proven and evident to me. The only access I have in this country is that highway over there, and I have to make sure I stay on that highway till from point A to point B. That's my territory. Other sides, as you venture through the vast, beautiful country of ours, there's fences on both sides that's indicating you got nothing. This is what we have to live with here. So where's the justice? Is there any justice in this world? Is there ever going to be any justice? Who works with this? Who deals with that? How do we I don't know it all. I can only give what I can. I cannot give any more than what I can. And what I did was for the benefit of my sons and his kids, that they have some kind of future. But right now it's pretty grim. So what do? We have instruments, we have materials, whatever we use to utilize our spirituality, whatever we have. We're in relationship with this power of mystery that we come from. It answers to us. It protects us because we're in relationship with it. The whole universe is our relationship. Our Mother Earth, that's his family over there. Mother Earth's family. And Mother Earth is our mother because we were born right here. We got to respect our mother like the way we respect our own mothers, the same way. We cannot hurt this beautiful mother of ours. Without her, we're dead. We're going to suffer. There's fires, there's tornadoes, there's all types of disasters. El Nino, whatever you want to call it. What is the reasons for the change of all climate change here, along with it, and living under threat? Year 2000 approaching us to what's going to be year 2000, because it's going to be a celebration. Is that when this guy is going to come back from the cross, or somebody? Is that human being, man, that's going to say, okay, fire, kill them all? Is this what it's going to be? These are facts of reality and facts of life. I have to have suspicions because I've seen it all my life. I'm just hanging on this much of my life every day that I've been on this earth as an Indian. And the pain is here I have to carry. The pain that you caused me, society, governments, foreign people. That's not humanity to do this to an innocent man, an innocent race of people. We have to talk to you in an honest way that you have to develop that heart. It's not there for nothing. It's not there for nothing. It's there for a reason to have those feelings. Yes. There's a lot. I mentioned that ball like this in our stomachs. Right there, that big knot here. So much untangling to do. Abuse from the system. Genocide. No family. Nothing. No money. Like that. Steady, just eating away at you. And it's a crime for us to have to live in that predicament every day. All my relations, my sufferings go to all our brothers that's in prisons, all across this country, and all the people that have been driven to the lowest depth any human being could be driven to the point of insanity. That's what we got to untangle. Now, you guys have to hear this pain because it's not right to suppress. It's not right. I don't care what philosophy you developed over here. That's not the lifestyle in this part of the world. This is an unviolent world. This is a world of love, to respect all mankind, all human life, everything. After you?
No, let me go on. So what's happening? Is Cleo?
Well, talk that in the mic so I can talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cleo said that her son was now facing a criminal charge because of an occupation they did on some property, some public property. And so it wasn't as easy to protest as it used to be. So it's getting heavy.
Okay.
And you talk.
Well, to me, it's not. I consider an occupation to be for reasons for free speech, for freedom. I believe that it's for causes for a human right because, for instance, for us to demonstrate, according to what I hear in our country, that Pigeon Square is the worst violent corner in this part of the world, and we took a fast there. We had a hunger fast. Well, I really believe that, this is not a just society. This is a society now that we see likes to hide behind closed doors, and it's got to come out to the open, because this type of manipulative tactics to try and keep the suppression going on is not right. Oh, I would believe there's so many different good things there. There was a lot of healing, for instance, when the drums were sounding, when the audience from Pigeon Square, the forgotten people that are rejected and thrown to that corner, were dancing and laughing, and you could see the spirit in our documentary of our march, that there was happiness, there was healing, that there was people that felt they had worth, that they had some dignity, and that they were something. And this was what was rewarding. Now, the sad part of it all here is that society don't want to show this type of thing. It doesn't want to show the conditions of where we were, where they'd driven us in actual fact. This is a big tourist city. I think the turnover of revenue in this city alone is very huge, and I don't know if they'd want to destroy by giving the actual pictures and footage of these what the living conditions has been for the Aboriginal people of this country.
The door is not open.
Pantallado no está para nada.
Where do you live?
Excuse me, when are you going to start running?
We're on. You're on.
Yeah? Well, right now, I have nowhere to live. You know, I'm a poor person, and I think this capitalist system is very deterioratory to human nature. Subsequently, that this is why socialism ever developed into some sort of system whereby everyone's equal, rather than you get like people like me down in the capitalist system. Like there's 10% unemployment, or 12%, whatever the statistics, the statisticians say occasionally, right? Okay, subsequently, this is what I'm saying tonight.
You went to university for 3 years?
You know what?
You're on.
Yeah.
They don't know what life is like.
Well,
To be like this.
I think most people don't have the actuality, or perhaps intellectual per se. I think everyone does, but people don't afford it because it comes down to dollars. Okay, what I have to say is that we're not ignorant, we're not stupid, we're not, jelly bellies, addicts or whatever. Whereas people who can't find a job because there's too many people who are qualified more than us than we are. Subsequently, we suffer. We have to sleep on the street now.
We gotta take this to the Ottawa now and tell the government not to do this to us. We had enough of this stuff. We care for you, brother. We care for you. We gotta fight for you. We gotta talk for each other, right? This is not where we should live, right? This is not our home. Cement.
Oh, I don't even, I want to cry, man.
You ask me questions.
Okay, what do you do?
I have a because I have a disability. You ask me questions and I'll answer you.
So you're serving sandwiches to the people here.
We serve sandwiches. We serve soup. I serve whatever I can afford to serve.
So what do you think about what's happening? How do you feel about the circumstances these people are in? What's going on?
I think it's a real shame. A real shame to all of Canada that people have to be hungry when there's so much money around and food around, but it's not put together. And why people have to be so hungry. I don't like being hungry, and I don't want to see anybody else hungry. But the worst shame is the fact that I'm on welfare, and I have to do this because nobody else will do it. And it's not a good day for me because somebody stole my wallet today, and
So what's the hope? Do you have a hope? You could keep it on going. What keeps you going?
what keeps me going? I put out a roll of paper one night and asked people to write down their thoughts. And one wrote down that I don't have to steal from you anymore. Please help Mother Hastings because I don't steal from you anymore because she feeds me and I don't have to steal food anymore. And another one wrote, I was going to commit suicide. And I had a vision of Mother Hastings serving buns, so I came to the car and Mother Hastings fed me and I didn't commit suicide. And there was many letters like that. Person came night before last and said to me that because of you, I got my daughter back. And I said, what do you mean? And she says, you're a real nice person and you teach me how to be a real nice person so I can be a nice mother now, so the courts give me my daughter back. And you better be good. If somebody's misbehaving, take them for a walk, somebody, okay? Take them for a walk. Okay, you have to ask me again.
So the hope is that the people you are helping. So we have to get a message out. I'm aware of that.
It's love. It's I had a song. I had asked God if this is really what he wanted me to do, and I woke up singing a song. The prodigals are coming in, the prodigals are coming in. And it was, the buns are going in, the hurts are going out, the buns are going in, the hurts are going out. And I realized as I was giving them buns and feeding them, because mostly I serve everything on buns, the soup I make it thick and put it on buns and stuff, because I can't afford bowls and spoons and stuff, so I make everything thick and serve it on buns or bread, whatever I can do. And last night, a man in the lineup said, you feed me better than my mother and father ever fed me. And they just really, it was awesome to hear him say, nobody ever fed me like yous feed me. And there's just love is growing, and the compliments that we get from them and the things that they share, that because of this, that they're just feeling so much better. They can sleep now. They're not going to bed hungry. And the compliments are awesome.
Carol?
Yeah.
I'm Michael Carroll. Michael Carroll, okay?
Right.
Yes, okay. Actually came from Pickering, Ontario, and ended up here.
Is that Atomic Energy?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I ended up here in Skid Row, okay?
Yes.
You know, when your resources run out, you end up in a room somewhere, okay? So we're going to Pigeon Square, okay?
Right.
And I shall take you there, okay?
So.
Graham.
Yes. Are you
Okay.
on program?
A personal recovery program, okay, of active recovery, okay?
Right.
Okay?
Active recovery.
Yes.
Heal the situation.
Heal the situation.
Do
It comes from
something
a
about it.
root problem, okay?
Right.
The problem is root, okay? We got a walk sign.
So you cook this, how often do you come down?
Every night. Every night we get here from about 12 o'clock to about 6 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'm late and sometimes I stay late. It varies.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, yeah.
But they're hungry whenever I come. It doesn't matter when I come.
Every night this is what our people get here. This is kind of sour to me. You know, I mean, these people mean well, but I don't really know what sanitation.
You know what? We got
We got all the visuals there, but none of the sound.
Oh boy, back here. No, this is every night of the week people get something to eat down here. Now this one's a little bit sour, but at least it's food anyway. It's something in the stomach. Can be choosy in this part of the world here on downtown east side. We don't know if there's any, might be health disease or something from these people. We don't know. Sometimes that could be, you know. We don't know what we're getting, okay?
We're becoming desensitized.
Yeah.
These are the streets.
These are the streets. This is our home. This is our reservation right here. We seen some live video tonight, live pictures of some of our people. We have a sister coming across here. Maybe we could say hello to her.
Hey.
What's happening?
Oh, nothing. I need a cigarette.
You need a cigarette.
What's this now?
So this is facts of life. This is where these people are, in the alleys here, and there is rats here along these alleys, all along here, all along up that way, but more so in the waterfront over here. Back to my living quarters for the night, and it's been a pleasure trying to help carry the message to the society here for the injustice that's going on, still going on in our country.
Just kidding. Don't make so much noise.
This is when they'll display the achievements. High-powered technology is still at the lowest level, taking you around. For the whole society, for the whole world to see. We got the balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I want to know why you did that.
Why I went on the hunger fast at Pigeon Square. They claim this is one of the toughest areas across our country here where there's violence, that you could die at any instant, is the way they portray Pigeon Square. And this is where I took the stand. This is where we've been driven to. This is our home now, and we got to deal with violence, so we can't run from violence. We'd like to get away from violence. We'd like to live in a free, violent world. But we have to coexist with each other in the violent world and in the society. This is where society has to look and balance out what is happening to the human. How much can the native Native person hold with all the things that's happening, the social pressures of this country, the continuous dominance, the suppression that's gone on for decades now, and at this time seems like it's not going to cease at all. There's a responsibility here that lies within this country that has to be corrected, because it's no longer now that we have any home, any land. We're victimized now. We're cornered to where we're showing where we're coming from. That degrading life that we've been driven to from our governmental system, the change of hands, all those brilliant brains, the change of hands that came and tried to help out the Indian world and regressed us instead, knowingly that we could have better lives. We're trying to fight for our lives now. It's come to that point. We're capable of being scientists. We're capable of education. We're capable of learning to read and write. And I believe we've assimilated accordingly to the best way that we've existed in this country. We are not terrorists. There's no threat from us. This has to stop now, the stereotyping that we are wagon burners, that we are worthless, that we are useless, that we're just existing here occupying space. That's not the way it goes in this country. This country is for all of us. Everyone that is on the face of this planet is entitled just as much as between me and the ones that we see in the back alley to Bill Gates. There's no different. We're all equal. We're all the same. It's only difference because of this class structure, this super high-powered stuff that's going on in our world today, that's neglecting the responsibility to continue our human existence as human being on planet Earth. We all have to get together now and start dealing from the grassroots level. That's where we're coming from. Are we the people now that's going to tell you we've had enough? We realize the genocide that continues on daily basis, 24 hours a day. The suffering goes on. We see it, and you'll see more. It's time now society wakes up and start facing the facts of what's taken place in this country to an innocent race of people that lost a whole entire continent. We have nothing. We have no land. We're poverty victims. Nothing. And this has got to be corrected now. And it's only because I'm using the tone of voice that I have to try and carry this message that we are sick and tired. It's been like this for decades now, for centuries. We're still in jail. We're lining up in welfare offices, like last night, this morning, lining up for sandwiches. We don't know what's in those sandwiches. They could be contaminated. I respect those people that are trying their best to help us for food. I love that. Don't know what we're getting. We have to take what we're getting. I don't think the Prime Minister of this country or the President of the United States would take a sandwich from any of those sandwich lineups. And that's a bare fact. And these are the things now we got to start talking about. Listen to us homeless. We have heart. We have feelings. We have a lot of pain that we've been packing because you've suppressed us. It's all in your hands. You hold a responsibility for this genocide that's been here for centuries, where we've been driven to the outer circle and we're watching our lives being wasted. We're a forgotten race. We're abandoned by our governments. Everybody, the whole system has gone the other way. We have to have our native leaders of this country start working towards understanding the native Indian that suffered for years. We need those people. We need our native organizations. We want to carry this message now. Let's start working together to help our people that are still here, the ones that we're showing you. It's no longer just paperwork now. We got to deal with humanity, human feelings, human emotions. We could all get along together here in our beautiful world, just working with love. It seems like it's a crime to talk about love, and that's all we have to strive for so we could all get along. We got to deal with this unjust balance here that's been going on for years. We're heading into a disaster. We have no voice as homeless people to speak for ourselves, that our whole global world is polluted. And okay.
Name is Bill Quinn. I was born on March 20, 1939 in Saddle Lake, Alberta. I was born on an Indian reservation, and I have some experience about the reservation life. I could see the conflicts that exist through the confinement on reservations. We no longer are nomadic people where we could just go out and venture out to any part of any territory. It's hard to digest that as a North American Native Indian, that it's like we completely lost our land. However, those are questionable and debatable, not in a sense of rebelling towards any violence, towards destruction to our land. It's not our culture to be terrorists, to go out and terrorize people. And for those that have been brought up by Native elders, you will understand what I'm saying. The philosophy that my grandmother gave me, that I've been able to walk with right up till now, through the hard experiences that I've had in physical, mental, spiritual, and verbal, and sexual abuse, whatever. I've been victimized by this system from day one, ever since I've been out of the residential school and going into residential school, and getting the confusion that I got and the rejection that I got from the schooling, where I believe that I should have been taught constructive education, technology, and science to be part of this system today. But something happened. It wasn't meant to be that way, I believe, because I went to a school where I was taught of a foreign Bible and religion that was handmade and handwritten, created over there, to their way of interpreting it, how creation came to be and where we're going when we die, and different things like that. It did not exist like that in our world here. In our world, there wasn't anyone over there called a devil waiting with a pitchfork to fork you into an inferno for eternity. This is the destruction to the mind that we're all affected from in our world. This is a beautiful world that we live in. There is no punishing God over there, to my understanding, to my knowledge, and to my wisdom, to my belief. And that's not saying that I don't have no spiritual values or I don't believe in creation. We are created the way we are. Things are created out there the way that they are. Mystery of creation came from somewhere, and nobody on the face of the earth could accurately pinpoint how everything came to be. But whichever way, it leaves us all with spiritual values of good feelings. We know that whether we're black, African, Oriental, or white race, We all nurture our babies the same way. We're all able to say, I love you. But something went wrong here. Something was created over there thousands of years ago to take the destiny of that particular race to where it is now, the supersonic space age that we're in. So there's a lot of issues here that have to be brought up realistically, honestly and truthfully in a humanistic form, because we have that mother tongue now that we're introduced to worldwide, English language. I respect the English language and I respect the system. I respect the achievements of the scientific technology that this man has been able to achieve. It's evident, it's focused now. He's able to land a vehicle 3 million miles away on another planet. This is how much power he has. But there's something that's gone wrong here. There's an imbalance of extreme wealth and extreme poverty, and I'm coming from the poverty level as an Indian person who's gone through different types of victimization to the level of extreme poverty, to homelessness, landlessness, poverty, no job skills, nothing, no education, no jobs, no money. It's hard to walk the walk of an Indian person that's gone through the experiences of injustice. That's not human behavior, not humanistic. And those are the things that we all have to work on. We have to coexist with this system. Shelter, our bed, we got nothing. This is what I'm coming from me. What I have in this North American continent as a native person after going through that schooling that I mentioned and coming out of there with grade 5, to live under this system like throwing an animal out of a cage after captivity for many years and throwing them out in the bush. They're going to have a hard time to survive over there. They haven't got those skills of the natural habitat from day one. And this is the same way the school that I have, it's just like turning me loose into a jungle. And that is why I say I live in a concrete jungle. The jungle is the home, is the sidewalk, and that asphalt and the cement building that I live in. I'm a human being and I've been affected many different ways. And I know a lot of the people that could have been walking alongside of me, stretched miles wide, have gone through death, through alcoholism, drug addictions, never completed a life cycle. I've been very fortunate myself that I've been able to go through a lot of tough, rough experiences physically. I OD'd 2 times from heroin, and somehow or other I was revived and brought back alive. 3 times I was hospitalized, almost beaten to death. I didn't know nothing, and then I'd come to and everything would be swirling around like I was in mid-space. I went through those things, and this is how I got here. This is why I'm able to talk today, because I have experiences of what took place in my life. Those people that have died have a lot of experiences. They were buried with a lot of experiences. There's a lot of us now that are walking on the streets that are going to have to take the stand because we have the experience and the knowledge. We don't have to go through the university and the white world. We already gone through the experience and university of a hectic life and whatever. We're all knowledgeable. And these are the factors that we have to use now to give to our fellow natives that are suffering on the street. If we're going to get out of our situation, we are the ones that's going to bring ourselves out. We are going to have to be self-supporting to develop our own strategy on how to conquer and combat all these ailments that are hovering over our heads, the continued genocide, whether it's cultural or human death caused by all these drugs that are in our system, the alcohol system, because of how fast it's moving. It's totally rejecting the native world in areas to equality, to walk alongside and be part of the science world. It's gotten so that native, myself, I use this interpretation all the time. I've been driven to the outer circle of this society. I'm at the edge of a cliff. One more shot and I'll be over. That's how it seems like to me. And I'm watching what's going on here, how their exploitation and the manipulation and all the different types of tactics that are being used to phase out the Indian. And this is a fact. We live under a heavy pressure of discrimination from so many different nationality of immigrants that have been brought here. They're notified ahead of time, some say. I heard one native lady say that her native children went to this Oriental school and the little kids told them that the mother was taught over there before they came that Indians were no good, that they were nothing but drunks. You gotta watch them, they're thieves and all this, they'll burn your house down. So this is the stereotype that still continues here, that all people have to be involved. We have to wash our hands, all of us as human beings, from discrimination. We have to do that. It has nothing to do because you're white, I'm Oriental, you're black, African, I'm Indian. I mentioned that we're exactly the same. And we got to work together, and we got to work this system together. We want the system to accept us, employ us, give us schoolings, give us good jobs. We could work alongside of you. No threat for any more violence worldwide. Let's not have another destruction to this system and we all fall to death again and another system will be restructured. Let's have justice for all mankind here. We could do it. There's a lot of things that we could teach positive to the human brain, that this is the way it is, the truth. Whatever, evolution, whatever, we could come to terms and have our debates and thorough discussions of the Bible and the religion conflicts to other cultural breakdowns caused by these forced teachings that are from the foreign land, the Bible and the religion. It has a lot of effect. This is where we have a lot of confusion. We are divided because of this, and we got to look at it. We should allow each other our own, the culture that we have. This should have been allowed to us. Our sun dances, our rain dances, our gratitude that we have been able to live decently in this part of the world. We use the pipe to communicate with the power of mystery, the power of creation, not an image of a man with blonde hair with blue eyes and a blonde beard, or all pictures of 12 apostles all white, or all the attendants of that crucifixion all white. Not like that. We had our own cultural values well intact here. I mentioned several thousand years. The pipe in our part of the world was the instrument to communicate to this source of power and appreciation. We were able to be grateful that we were in harmony with and close relationship with all life, all animal life. Able to talk to birds, able to talk to animals, knowing that they're as intelligent as human beings. They talk too. They talk to each other. They make their bed. They have their little ones there. They're comfortable, even if they sleep on little twigs and little feathers, little twig here, they're still comfortable. That's the mystery that we belong to, appreciation of being alive. We have that. That's our culture. It doesn't teach, go kill someone else, go steal his stuff, go lie to him, go cheat on him, take his wife away from him. It doesn't teach that in our culture. A lot of violations have been done in our Indian world to so.
What I'd like to say in conclusion with this demonstration that took place in Pigeon Square from the homeless, who else could we depend on? Where else could we go? We took a stand here for the general public, for the whole society, for all our governments, and all people involved towards human rights. Open your eyes and take a look at the situation of the homeless Indians that have been driven to the lowest depth of anyone could ever do to a human race. These are facts of reality, and we have to be serious because it's affecting our lives. We have to have a destiny for our children, for our future children. This is why we have to take the stand now for all people. I said, please open your eyes and hear us. We have a just cause here. This is not a game. This is the fact of reality. We can't be eating out of food lineups for the rest of our lives. This is not the way it is. Our buffalo meat is gone. Our salmon is gone. What do we have now? We're depending on welfare systems. This is the way it is. Is this the extent of our lives? What wrong have we done? Take a look at that. Do we have any justice? Is anybody coming out there to help us? We need all our federal governments, all our social services, social agencies, all our native organizations, native leaders, native reservations of this country. We need to talk. We need to talk to each other. Talk to the urban natives. We can't go any further now. We're almost over the edge of that cliff. We have to fight for humanity.
Teach, and if it's in truth, it's honesty without murder involved or exploitation, that's valuable. But if I have a culture over here that I'm talking about of being truthful and honest and compassionate and loving, able to nurture a baby and saying I love you, and I go and exploit you, and I go and kill you and take your land, and I kill your people in any way possible. You see, this is the difference here, and it's still there in the Indian world. We're still not the terrorists that we are stereotyped to be. We could see worldwide where terrorism lies, where it generates from, where the capability of terrorism lies. We don't have the Star War weaponry in the native world to go fly around other countries and bomb, drop 100 bombs out of an airplane. Missiles that are accurate, computer age war. We don't have that. We can't do that. So this is where is man going? Is this what it was meant to be, that there's going to be a world division, that there's going to be one race that's going to control the world? Is this the way it was? Why don't we talk about that? You got the world. They have the technology. As far as I'm concerned, they got it all in the sense of materialistic values. They do not have my spirit, my cultural values, and my beliefs. They don't have that, and I will never allow to give that to them, because I believe and respect Mother Earth, all animal life, and human life. I respect human life. There is no way that I would go and endanger the life of another different skin-colored human being. And this is why when I talk, I want to talk about discussing racial differences. I know a lot of our native people are prejudiced, extremely prejudiced towards any other skin color. You beside Indian because they've been victimized and brutalized by police or the system, whatever, welfare system. Many have been incarcerated and in jails for accusations that weren't guilty and have been convicted for long terms in prison lives. So many things have led to Skid Row and all these ailments that we're suffering from today because of that force. This is the way it happens in our Indian world. We're victimized. It's not easy being an Indian. We're coming from so many different places. There's so many million and millions of different issues that could be brought here from our street brothers, the ones that have gone to jails, that lived in jails, prisoners that I was just talking about, being sentenced. That's why there's discrimination over there, because we get the abuse, and it's unfortunate that it's that way, but it could be healed in a realistic way. We could have a destiny in our own world here as Native people. As of now, I said, I'm watching from the outer circle, and that is not a destiny. I'm watching my own people eating out of a garbage can for human survival, to have food in their stomach. These are mighty proud nation of Indian people that are happening to them this way. And our Native people sleeping in back alleys using a cardboard box for a mattress. This is the unbalance of humanity that has to be looked at by all races of people. Many say this is the fault of the Indian here, that he has to be that way. I talked with several people, and I